Are you thinking about cruising in 2021 or 22? Well, guess what? I have some updates for you. Stay tuned. Welcome back to So You Want to Travel, where I give you tips and tricks that I've learned along the way of being a travel agent for almost 22 years. That is one of the best sounds ever. If you're a cruiser or you had a cruise booked towards the end of 2019, 2020, the beginning of 2021, that sound has got to be exciting for you. And as of now, there's actually 19 cruise lines that have launched or are going to launch that allow American citizens. In this video, I'll go over some of the more popular ones and some of their protocols. And then at the end of the video, I have a surprise for you. So you should know that cruise ships, all of the cruise lines, as of now, are trying to move towards having all of their guests completely vaccinated. Now, of course, they can't do that because children 11 and under can't get vaccinated just yet. So there are some requirements in reference to vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And with Carnival, you are looking at fully vaccinated passengers need to have a negative test to embark. And that test needs to be taken within 2 days of embarkation. Now, what about unvaccinated guests, the children? Well, it's a little bit more specific. So I'm actually going to read this verbatim from Carnival themselves. And keep in mind, and I always say this, I know you guys are going to get tired of me saying this, but I have to say it just to make sure everybody realizes that it can possibly change. So don't watch this video 2 months from now and say, well, Cami said this, because it can be different. So if you do have a cruise booked, you always want to either check with the cruise line, or if you have a travel agent, your travel agent will make sure that they're updating you if there's a change. So different from the vaccinated passengers, unvaccinated passengers need to get a test 3 days prior to departure, and then this is what they require after that. The unvaccinated guest must take an additional antigen test at embarkation and a test again within 24 hours of debarkation on all cruises longer than 4 days. $150 per person will be charged to your onboard account to cover the testing. Another requirement that Carnival has for unvaccinated passengers is that you have travel insurance. Now, I'm a big advocate for travel insurance. So for me personally, if you are vaccinated or not vaccinated, I say get travel insurance, but that's something that Carnival is going to ask you for if you are not vaccinated. Now, moving over to Celebrity Cruise Lines, they are pretty much the same as Carnival. For unvaccinated passengers, you will need to get your test 2 days prior to embarkation. And for unvaccinated passengers, it will be 3 days prior to embarkation. And then they'll have to give you another test once you arrive to the ship. One thing that Celebrity is doing is that is free of charge. Next, we'll take a look at Princess Cruise Lines. This one's actually pretty easy because they're really working on making sure that their ships are 100% vaccinated. And that is in reference to the guest and also those who are working on the ship. So for the guests, you just need to make sure that you have a negative test. Make sure you get it 2 days before embarkation. And lastly, let's take a look at Royal Caribbean. I'm sure everybody knows Royal Caribbean is the big dog out in the Caribbean right now. And in fact, they have a new ship coming out, but I'll talk about that later. As I was editing, I received this update and protocol. And all of the cruise lines across the board require you to have your vaccination card for those who are vaccinated, Your name needs to appear on your vaccination card, the same as it is on your passport and your passport card. And then with regards to Carnival, the date of birth actually needs to be the same as well. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but just to let you know that everything has to be the same. Vaccination card, card, or passport. Now, Royal Caribbean actually has an at-home test that you can order. It takes about 3 business days for you to receive that. It's a test that Royal Caribbean accepts. And basically what it is, you have an online e-med who's guiding you through the whole process, and it only takes 15 minutes to get the results. So that's amazing. Now the price is, if you get 2 tests, it's $70, and 3 tests is $100. Now you have to think about it. Why would you purchase a test when you can go to Walgreens, maybe CVS, Walgreens, I know their tests are free. Well, you have to think about it. There's no guarantee that when it comes to travel that you'll get your test in time when it comes to going to Walgreens or the other areas. Not saying that you won't. That's just one thing that I noticed when I was looking at Walgreens and their test. They don't guarantee that you'll get the test in a certain amount of time for travel. So you just weigh your pros and cons, whatever you feel comfortable doing. I'm not saying neither here nor there, but you have both options. They do suggest that you order it a week in advance. So should you book a cruise in 2021 or should you wait until 2022-23? Again, I'm not here to tell anybody what they should or should not do. It's up to everyone. It's up to your discretion, how you feel, what makes you comfortable. One thing that I do really like right now with regards to most of the cruise lines, they are offering a cancellation where if you decide that you don't feel comfortable traveling or there's an outbreak, then you can cancel and then you would receive future cruise credits, which are excellent. Now, if the cruise themselves cancel, at that point, you have the option to A, get a full refund, or B, most of the time you get future cruise credits, but a little bit more. So like with regards to Royal Caribbean, instead of 100% of what you paid, you get 125% of future cruise credits. So there's really no risk, it's a win-win. Prices have gone down dramatically when it comes to cruising. So I took a look at 3 different cruise lines at the end of October just to kind of get an idea, what would the price be if you wanted to do something last minute. Well, I have to say I was very shocked at the pricing. We're gonna start with Royal Caribbean because that had the best price, and when I say best price, it's an amazing price. I think I should go on a cruise at the end of October. So looking at that one, it was only $401 per person. $401 for an inside stateroom. That's for a 7-night cruise to the Caribbean. That price is amazing. But the next one is excellent as well, and that's on Carnival, which is generally cheaper than Royal Caribbean, but this is on their new ship, which is the Mardi Gras. For an inside cabin on a brand new ship, $659, and that's Western Caribbean. And then lastly, you have Princess, which is a little bit higher than your Royal Caribbean and your Carnival. It was only $698 per person for an inside cabin. And that particular cruise is doing the West Coast with one stop in Mexico. So there are amazing deals out right now for 2021 and 2022 and even 2023. Again, you have to make up your mind if you want it to go in 2021. One thing I can tell you is, as I was filming, I got an email from a passenger who just got back from a cruise a few days ago, and he said it was the best cruise he ever went on, and they are avid cruisers. The reason why is because the cruise ships are actually trying to not have full capacity. They want to keep the crowds down to make sure that you're safe. So he said less crowds, less lines, and great service. So again, if it's something you're thinking about, then that would be a reason why you may want to take a look at booking here in 2021. You have great prices and less crowds. And number 3, if you have a travel agent who has a bigger agency, then you receive perks, and that's with sales or without. So what is it actually like being on a cruise right now during this new normal? Well, I find out from my passenger who just got back, and if you have questions you specifically would like me to ask, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Other than that, talk to you later.